Too a little short for a stormtrooper.
What's up, nerds? Welcome to another episode of the Multiverse Report. We are recapping the week's nerdy news from Castle Dracula to Camp Crystal Lake and everywhere in between. That's right, it is October 30th, Devil's Night, the night before Halloween. Spooky season is in full tilt. I am Mike Gibson here wearing my skeleton onesie. With me, as always, is Red 2 standing by. And, Steve Holler. What's up, Steve?
Oh, just a general Wedge Antilles feel of the day. I was waiting for a way to drop. Look at the size of that thing, but it just wasn't gonna happen. Another quality Gibson Halloween party in the books. Another quality.
Hey, thank you.
Setup for the big night tomorrow night for me dressing up as Wedge Antilles and walking my son as BB-8 around the neighborhoods, and we'll go from there.
Yes, for those of you watching either on Twitch or on YouTube, you will see that Steve is wearing a rather enormous, because it fits over his headphones.
It really is
that
huge.
He's wearing X-Wing pilot helmet, which he made himself out of foam, which is pretty impressive.
And when you use a basketball for the mold, apparently it turns out pretty big. So it fits
pretty big.
Nicely over the cans tonight.
Yeah, but it looks great.
It's also really hot, so I'm probably not going to have it on too much longer.
I think that's easily forgivable. But everybody else, we did want to acknowledge spooky season. We may have some spooky stuff at the end of the podcast to talk about real quick to tell you. But in general, buckle up, listeners, watchers, because this past week was one of the biggest weeks of nerd news in a long time. Like a very, very, very long time. We got huge Star Wars news, huge DC news, big Marvel news, and some Doctor Who stuff coming up that all of it is stuff that I'm very excited about, as I'm sure Steve is as well.
Absolutely.
So this might be a bit of a long episode tonight. So
because we never have those, Mike.
We never have those. Actually, it's been a little bit. It's been a little bit since we've had an extra long one.
Yeah, we just decided to break things down more and more lately into a bunch of short episodes.
Yes. And also, we're not doing an Andor recap this week because I haven't watched it. I'm not caught up. So next week we'll do 2.
No, and I did throw in the rundown a quick Tales of the Jedi non-spoiler section after our initial Star Wars news. But
ooh, okay.
Yeah, I figure that needs to be talked about because that was really good.
Well, I agree. I can't wait to talk about that, even though I also haven't seen that. But we're going to start with some other Star Wars news. And a secret Star Wars film has been announced, and it's secret because we don't know anything about it other than who's working on it. Who's working on it? Someone named Damon Lindelof. You nerds may remember Damon Lindelof from writing things like Lost and Watchmen and The Leftovers and some other stuff that, I guess Lost is like, some people love it, some people think it's meh, some people hate it. And he's done some other stuff like that. Like he wrote Prometheus, I think, the Alien prequel. Huh. Yeah. He's the one that made it less like an Alien movie and more like something that doesn't have anything to do with Alien.
Right.
So that's debatable, I guess. But I don't know. I love Lost. I love Watchmen, and I think he's a creative dude. So Damon Lindelof is co-writing a secret Star Wars film. That's been a rumor for a while. It's finally been confirmed this week. He's co-writing it with a guy named Justin Brett-Gibson. Hey. Gibson.
Oh, hey. Any relation?
Should look him up. I don't know, but I'm going to find out. See if I can get some premiere passes.
There you go.
Justin Brett-Gibson wrote on The Strain, and the two of them are co-writing a new film that's going to be directed by Charmin Obaid-Chinoy, who directed an episode or two of Ms. Marvel. I guess Lindelof and Lucasfilm, although it was very early on in the clearly in pre-production of this film, they're just writing it right now. They thought it was wise to bring a director on early on so that the director could help kind of develop the story and like she could see it through her lens or like add her, 2 cents to like how the story should be constructed, which I think is smart.
Are we learning things here, Mike? Is Disney Lucasfilm actually like taking some things into account for oh, we should have some structure behind this and maybe know what we want to do prior to making a film.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. Like maybe we should be like a tight-knit unit that all has the same vision moving forward so we don't have to fire
No.
directors, you know,
What
when
kind of
we're
crazy?
they're
What
almost
kind of crazy talk is that? No,
Yeah.
we can't do that.
We can't do that. We can't fire another director. I think that's more what it is. It's like we can't do this again.
Yeah,
It's not that-
let's let them work on the writing so that when they get to filming, it's not just a complete chaotic mess.
Yeah, exactly. So there are no story details at this time. I guess there was a big, I didn't write this down in the rundown, but apparently there was a big, like a story group meeting that included Damon Lindelof and Justin Brett-Gibson and what's his face, Dave Filoni,
Right.
and you know
Probably
all like the
Lilo
Star Wars.
Chi and a bunch of the other.
Yep,
like,
a
big
Star Wars story group
guys.
was there.
Yep.
Pablo Hidalgo was probably there.
Yep.
And they that group is the one that came up with the general story for this film, and then Lindelof and Gibson and Brett-Gibson went off to actually write the script. So there's no story details that are public at this time, but what I feel is very exciting is that it is confirmed that this film will take place after the events of Rise of Skywalker. So it will be the furthest in the continuity that we've seen so far, because since Rise of Skywalker, as we've talked about before, the Disney Plus series, they're doing a lot of hole plugging. They're plugging a lot of holes.
Right.
Here's what happened between these two movies. Here's what happened between these two trilogies. Here's what happened over here. Here's fill these gaps. Okay, like, and that's all fun. That's great. And especially Andor is doing it incredibly well in a way that doesn't feel too referential or anything like that.
Yeah, and for we didn't we're not doing an Andor moment, but for anyone who saw this week's episode, it's held its standard. Let's put it this way.
Okay, good. Should I take my headphones off? So you
No.
can say something?
It's
Okay.
just like when you think you hit these two arcs, like they've been doing the episodic arcs.
Yeah.
This one is the start to the third 3-piece arc, and then the final 2-piece arc. So that last week's that you saw was kind of a standalone. Episode 7 was kind of a standalone, and then this starts the you saw him get arrested. So
yes,
this starts the arc of okay, what's going on in there?
What happens there? Yeah, the only stills I've seen from the episode are him in some kind of Imperial prison. It seems.
Yeah,
like,
which it's funny. All the Imperial Imperial prisoners are wearing nice orange jumpsuits and like white with orange piping jumpsuits and stuff. And it's like, did the rebellion take a little bit from there, or?
Oh, like, interesting. Yeah, so, right. Oh,
like,
wow.
Did they just take those take those onesies and use them as pilot's garb, or what?
Yeah, claiming this for our own. Yeah,
right.
Who knows? Anyway, hole plugging, as good as it has been, or as mediocre as it has been, if we're including Book of Boba Fett.
Right. Hey,
I have always, yes, and they were Mandalorian episodes.
Right.
I have always been very interested and excited to see what's going to happen next. Star Wars for me is always like, what's going to happen next? That's what makes me more excited than any prequel stuff, than any like hole plugging stuff. Like,
I need the way before or the next.
Yes,
because like High Republic has been great. The Old Republic, like remembering playing those games and doing all that, phenomenal. Yeah. Any of that stuff, basically anywhere where they don't have a predefined sandbox to play in and just let them go.
Yep. I agree with that. And because Star Wars is unique amongst fandoms, Star Trek, I guess, is the same way, where Star Wars canon is not based on any existing source material. DC, Marvel, Harry Potter, like whatever, they're based on books, comic books, novels, whatever. Like, you know what the story is. Even if you miss a Marvel movie, you can just read a comic that's probably similar or that it was based on, and like figure out kind of what happened.
At least some points of it are based in something in print at some point.
Yes, but with Star Wars, it's the movies. I guess, and the shows, but again, the shows have all been hole plugging so far. Like, it's the movies that are advancing the story. They're advancing the characters, advancing the timeline. The movies are what does that, and there's no other way for you to know what happens to those characters without seeing that movie. You can't say, "Oh, I'm going to skip that movie. I'll just read the book." Well, there isn't a book. You got to see the movie. I guess there's a novelization. Fine, Steve. Whatever. Yeah. Nitpicky.
And there's a lot of fill-in books, which it's funny because the adoption rate of like the Disney EU or like even classic EU, all the fill-in pieces has not been there compared to, and it's actually some of the better Star Wars that's been told, but at the same time, like, you know, it's not likely, like Marvel's taking their catalog and turning it into the movies, whereas Star Wars has all the stuff to plug the gaps, but they're not, you know, they're not filming it. They're just like, oh, go read the comics if you want to do that, but nobody's going to do that. So outside of crazy folks like us. So
sure. Yeah. Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Because even like the novelizations of the films are based on the films. You know?
And weirdly, though, like they're even more developed because they're based off the initial, like before stuff hits the cutting room floor.
Yes, they have all that deleted stuff.
Right. Your quote unquote director's cut is the novelization because that's what the whole script was before they had to chop shit down.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I'm very excited about to see what comes next. And speaking of Rise of Skywalker and the continuation of that timeline, it has been said that this will not be a direct continuation of the quote-unquote Skywalker saga, episodes 1 through 9. Mm-hmm. However, it is possible that this movie may bring back some of those sequel characters. So they didn't specify, but I'm thinking Rey, Poe. I mean, John Boyega has been pretty certain that he has no interest in coming back as Finn anytime soon, but like, who knows if Rose Tico could be on board for this? Like, there's a number of characters that could be coming back.
Even with Boyega, like someone like Lindelof selling him on it could bring him back.
Yeah,
like if you have a creative, you know, I never watched Lost. I tried like once or twice. It just never grabbed me. Like whatever. But the Watchmen, like watching that Watchmen series. That Watchmen. Yeah, okay. We'll go with that. That whole stretch and that whole series was just gold. Yeah. No matter what Alan Moore says about it. Yeah. It was phenomenal. And it's just like if he's the one tagged to be writing this, it's like that brings some weight to it.
I 100% agree. 100% agree. So I think if the story's, like you're saying, if the story's good enough, if they can get John Boyega to agree to read a script or to have a meeting with Damon Lindelof or whoever, the director,
right?
It's possible that he could be sold on it if the story was that good. I would love to see a continuation of those characters. I hope I hope we get something.
And for all we know, it might just be Babu Frick.
Yeah. Like, who knows?
He is technically a sequel character.
Yeah. Or it could be a completely, like, the main character could be somebody that we've never met before, a new character, but maybe, you know, Rey is just on the sidelines, you know, a supporting character or something like that. But I would still love to see that.
Yeah, similar to how I used to talk about the EU, where it was like, especially, you know, case in point, the Wedge X-Wing helmet, but like the X-Wing series, it was very ancillary, but every once in a while you had like Leia and Han and Luke show up here and there for reasons that made sense. And it's like, is it something completely off the rails? But yeah, Daisy Ridley shows up as Rey for, you know, a shot here or there, or, you know, Oscar Isaac shows up. I mean, it's Star Wars. They have the budget to bring Oscar Isaac back for an episode or whatever. Yeah. So like, do they work as ancillary characters too? And I think that may make it even more intriguing. Yeah, I think so. I mean, we were geared up to have the first non-Skywalker saga film be Rogue Squadron. So since that got backburnered, you know, there's still, and you know, in Rogue Squadron, I'm sure Poe would have had some sort of cameo. So if you're doing something like this, you can still bring him back. Yeah, you can bring back whoever back. Whoever, exactly. I've decided that I want you to wear that helmet every episode. By the way, I love looking at you while you're wearing a giant, two sizes, an oversized on your head. It's the best. Oh God. All right. Well, moving from a galaxy far, far away. That's right. You got Tales. I still want to talk on Tales. Talk on it. Yeah. If anyone don't spoil anything for me. Oh, I will not, sir. Because I will not touch on anything that didn't come out prior to it being launched. I can say with full confidence, all 6 episodes of it, all shorts, 10 to 15 minutes long at the most. it's one of those where you hit start and you're like, oh, 17 minutes. Then you realize the last 6 minutes are credits.
Right. Yeah.
You're like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
So it starts off with an Ahsoka episode. Then you get the Dooku episodes and then 2 Ahsoka episodes.
I noticed they flip-flopped. It wasn't
Yeah, it
like,
was-
I thought
it was
it was
very
going to be like
asymmetric.
3 Ahsoka, 3 Dooku. Nope,
Right. I
just,
would have expected
flipping back
like
and forth.
3, like 3 and 3 or like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1,
They want to keep you invested. It's a smart move. Yeah.
Right. So they hook you with the Ahsoka episode, throw the Dooku stuff out there, which is the Dooku stuff makes me want a Dooku series or
Wow.
something that like delves deeper into Dooku because
Wow.
it fills in the gap from when he has the first Dooku episode starts with, and it's the opening shot to it, but you realize it's him with Qui-Gon as his Padawan.
Yeah, I saw that in the trailer.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it finishes up with him going to the Sith. And you're just like,
oh, amazing.
it fills this gap perfectly. And it's
Yeah.
like, I just want this fleshed out more. And you want more Dooku. And like even the in-between episodes, you're just like, I want more of this.
Yeah.
And then
Oh, man.
the
Can't
Ahsoka
wait.
arc is great as well.
Oh, nice.
And I know you didn't read it, but the third Ahsoka episode is based very closely off the E.K. Johnson Ahsoka book.
oh, okay.
And it's phenomenally done.
Oh, great.
There's some quirks to it, but
yeah.
and you may see some uproar for some fandom that is completely justified that I'm not saying anything for because I don't want to spoil anything. But
Wow. Okay. Oh.
not to take anything away from the story. It's a very warranted, but also very ancillary to the quality of the work.
Sure. Okay.
Argument.
Okay.
We can talk more on it next week if it shows up more, but
Sure.
but yeah, Tales of the Jedi, well worth taking a look at. It's an hour and change of your time. That's going to be. It's all in the Clone Wars style, and it hits right. So
Wow. Awesome. I can't wait to watch it. I think I'm probably going to watch it Tuesday,
there we go.
November 1st. Can't
Well,
wait.
maybe we'll get your recap next week then.
Awesome. Will do. So anyway, yeah, moving from a galaxy far, far away into the DC universe. Holy crap. Okay, helmet's coming off. So long, helmet. Holy crap, what a huge week of news for DC. If you listened to our episode last week, our main episode last week, we reported that Warner Brothers Discovery was heavily invested in having Henry Cavill return as Superman. We were kind of like being a little cagey in that episode because if you listen to our Black Adam spoiler review, you know that he is already back as Superman. Last week we didn't say that during the main episode outright because we were trying to preserve spoilers, but apparently DC doesn't care about spoiling the mid-credit scene of Black Adam because Henry Cavill himself announced this week on his Instagram that he is, quote unquote, officially back as Superman.
Right, which
He
actually
posted-
coincides with him officially being gone from The Witcher.
Yeah, I put that up here as well. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, they didn't officially say that, but I feel like it's pretty likely that's related that Henry Cavill has also stepped down as Geralt in The Witcher, being replaced by Liam Hemsworth. I feel like there's a lot of people that are not super happy about that. But I also feel like I've seen people on Twitter being like, what a step down. He's leaving The Witcher to be super, like, yo, step down? Superman's the most famous superhero of all time. Well, how is that a step down? That's a huge step up. Sorry, buddy. It's a huge step up.
Yeah, that's like turning down, you don't turn down Batman, you don't turn down Superman, you don't turn down
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Sort your life out, person on Twitter that I saw
Right.
saying that. Get your priorities straight. This is Superman we're talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway, Henry Cavill posted this on his Instagram. He posted a picture of himself in the suit, behind the scenes photo from him on the Black Adam set, I believe. And then a video of himself saying, I wanted to wait until the weekend was over before posting this because I wanted to give you all a chance to watch Black Adam. And now that plenty of you have, I wanted to make it official that I am back as Superman. And the image you see on the post and what you saw in Black Adam is just a very small taste of things to come. There's a lot to be thankful for, and I'll get to that in time. But I wanted to thank you guys most of all. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your patience. I promise it will be rewarded. So that's very exciting. And again, pretty soon after Black Adam. So they weren't all too concerned about spoiling it for Black Adam. A lot of people saw Black Adam opening weekend. I'm sure a lot of people also didn't, but
Right.
I think they're more concerned with getting this great news out there. And then subsequently, a few days later, in an interview with MTV, he said the following: "There is such a bright future ahead for the character. I am so excited to tell a story with an enormously joyful Superman," is what he said. Enormously joyful Superman, which to me tells me that Warner Brothers Discovery, rightfully, smartly, in my opinion, is moving away from the Zack Snyder version of Superman that was like
Brooding.
dark and trying to be edgy and broody and black costume. Like, nah. Let's make like a Superman that's actually reflective of the way that Superman is in the comic books. And that makes me very, very, very happy, I have to say.
Well, it's funny because if there had been a longer established Superman, like DCEU quote unquote Superman, that wasn't Cavill, or that was something other than Cavill, or even that was Cavill with I guess more development behind it, and then they go Snyder and dark brooding for a reason, like in the comics. Anytime he goes dark, it's for a reason. Right. And Snyder was just kind of like, okay, he's gonna be our emo kid, and that's it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the fact that his second appearance is in a movie where he fights Batman, and it's the first time we've seen that Batman, is just insane. And like, I'm not the first person to say that. That's not like a new take, but like, people love Captain America Civil War because we already had like 10 years of buildup of these characters, right. Iron Man and Captain America, like at odds with each other. You're giving us the second time we've seen this Superman and the first time we've seen this Batman, and we're supposed to like view this as some kind of like epic battle for the ages. Like, no, I don't care. It's right. Like, you're rushing this. And also, and then they just introduce Doomsday and kill him at the end of that movie. Like, what? This is his second appearance. Well, and you're killing him already? What the fuck are you doing?
Yes, exactly. And that's so the thing with anything like, I don't know. It's weird if they started a new comic title and that happened, it's one thing. Yeah. Because there's been the establishment, there's been the build up, there's been like anything in that medium for this many years.
For 80 years, right. Yeah.
Like, you get that. But for a movie to just come out of nowhere and do that, you're just like, guys, like, pay your dues a little.
Exactly. Pay your dues. Like, the death of Superman could have been a trilogy. They could have made a trilogy out of that shit. And they just, like, ham-fisted it into the back of another already overstuffed movie. Anyway, that's all stuff that's been litigated 1,000 times, and I don't have to go off about it.
No, but I gotta something say, that you will go. Oh, sorry. If you had more.
Oh, no. Your segue, I don't really have anything.
I was going to say something I know you're going to go off on just about like some sort of gun is the next story.
Yeah, man. So excited about this. So very excited. So we reported, it's been made publicly clear since the merger of Discovery and Warner Brothers that Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav is looking for their own Kevin Feige, their own person to lead DC films the way that Kevin Feige leads Marvel Studios for Disney. They almost signed Dan Lin for that. We talked about last week in that big Hollywood Reporter report on DC films that they were still looking for somebody to do that. There was no other names that were coming out of that report, but the search was still on. We also reported that James Gunn was actively pitching projects to DC and was looking to be more involved in DC. Well, let's wrap those two stories together and announce here on this podcast that officially this week it was announced that James Gunn and his producing partner, Peter Safran, are going to be co-chairs of the newly minted DC Studios. Yes, that means that the two These two men are taking executive positions at DC Studios, formerly DC Films. The Warner Brothers is creating a new department called DC Studios, officially to oversee DC stuff. They will be guiding everything. They will be guiding and shaping everything that Warner Brothers Discovery is putting out that's DC related, from TV, films, and animation. James Gunn is going to focus on the creative side, and Peter Safran is going to focus on the business side. They were both reporting directly to David Zaslav himself. James Gunn, of course, no stranger to the DC universe, written and directed the Suicide Squad, which is my favorite DC EU project to date. And he's also done Peacemaker, which is one of the greatest superhero television shows, I believe, ever. Peter Safran is a producer on both those projects. He also produced Shazam, and I believe he's worked on a couple other more recent DC EU titles as well.
His first DC title was Aquaman.
Oh yeah, he was on Aquaman.
He was
That's right.
Producer on Aquaman, Shazam, Suicide Squad, Shazam: Fear of the Gods, Blue Beetle, Aquaman: Lost Kingdom, and EP on Peacemaker. Of other note, he did get special thanks for the amazing and we'll just go with Wet Hot American Summer.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Really?
So he was tied into that. And this was after his EP work on Scary Movie.
So cool.
His first thing he ever did was Rocket Man.
Oh, wow. The Elton John movie?
No. The original 1997 comic science fiction film directed by Stuart Gillard, starring Harlan Williams.
Oh, okay.
So you can imagine it's a not serious movie.
I can imagine, yes. I love James Gunn. I love his Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I love his earlier horror movies that I've seen. I love the Suicide Squad, and I love Peacemaker. I think, for me personally, this is like the greatest news that I could have expected to come out of DC and Warner Brothers Discovery. I gotta say,
Safran has some serious horror chops too.
Oh yeah, they're both. Yeah, they both know their way around the horror street.
Yeah, The Conjuring. The Conjuring's all a Safran thing.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't really. Oh, that's amazing. Both of them are expected to continue in their director and producer roles during the length of this contract. The contract is for 4 years as of right now. Obviously, it could be extended if it goes well. The one official exception to their overseeing of the DC slate is Todd Phillips' Joker 2, Folie à Deux. That is going to stay with Todd Phillips and the Warner Brothers Discovery producers that is currently with. I think they probably just don't want to like muddy the waters on that because that film's already like in production and they don't want anyone to step in. It's possible that this exception will also extend to Matt Reeves and his the Batman universe and the world that he's kind of building there. There's no confirmation on that yet. But I can also like James Gunn. I think James Gunn is smart enough to not just walk into an incredibly established and visually well thought out universe and start like pushing stuff around just for the hell of it. So even if he does oversee the Batman, I can see him giving Matt Reeves still letting Matt Reeves have full control over what's going on over there. They released a joint statement saying, "We're honored to be the stewards of these DC characters we've loved since we were children. We look forward to collaborating with the most talented writers, directors, and actors in the world to create an integrated, multi-layered universe that still allows for individual expression of the artists involved. Our commitment to Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Harley Quinn," notice he did not say The Flash, "and the rest of the DC stable of characters is only equaled by our commitment to the wonder of human possibility that these characters represent. We're excited to invigorate the theatrical experience around the world as we tell some of the biggest, most beautiful, grandest stories ever told." Their contract officially starts November 1st. So anything DC related you've heard in the last couple weeks or you'll hear subsequently on this podcast has nothing to do with them. They're going to start running DC Studios
in 2
November
days.
1st, 2 days from now. 2 days from this very recording.
So that was actually, I made a note and I was going to mention it, and you hit it. The fact that he mentions Harley Quinn and doesn't touch on the Flash.
Yeah,
That's very telling.
it's very telling. But also, he's also written a movie that starred Harley Quinn.
Oh,
You know what I mean? So he could be more attached to that character. He could have plans, ideas already for that character in his brain already.
Right.
I'm sure that he does. I'm very excited about this because I think James Gunn is a great understanding of character, a great storyteller, and a really good like visual filmmaker, and he understands what makes a comic book movie a comic book movie. He understands the source material, he understands the characters, and like I don't know, I know that not everyone loves the Suicide Squad as much as I do, but man, when I watch what's that?
How?
Dude, I don't know.
It was a great movie.
It was great. When I watched that movie and like goddamn Starro the Conqueror just erupts from like a rubble, like a building that's already collapsing, and I'm just like, this is the greatest comic book movie ever. It's just,
I guess that's the thing, though. James Gunn knows how to make a comic book movie.
Yes, that's exactly what I was about to say. He knows how to balance serious character interaction and character development and treat them with respect,
right?
And treat them honestly and treat them genuinely, and also weave in insane things like Starro the Conqueror,
right.
Or like a talking tree and a talking raccoon. You know, like how do you make me care about a talking raccoon? Make me sad when a talking tree sacrifices himself, like to save the like. That's he knows how to do that, and not every filmmaker knows how to do that.
Star-Lord's dad is a planet.
Is a planet, exactly. Like that's wild. Yeah, make me care that. Or make it
turn Yondu into a likable, lovable character.
Yes. Yeah. Make me like sad that a woman that has the power to control rats, who learned about controlling rats from her dad that also controlled rats, is saving the life of a guy who just has weapons all over his body and also is scared of rats. I don't know. Like it's just so like there's a talking shark in that movie. Like it's just. There's so much insanity, and yet
it works.
It works, and like he doesn't back off of the severity of the situation or the reality of the world that he's creating. I don't know. It's just he can do it all. And because we know in the past when he initially got fired from Marvel from directing Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which by the way, I think it's really funny. I saw someone tweet something like, Kevin Feige creating his own arch nemesis is the greatest story of all time.
It's literally
accidentally creating his accidentally creating his own arch nemesis.
And knowing Feige,
of course, there's
I guarantee he's probably not the one that pulled that trigger, but
no, I know, and I think he agreed to it. I don't think he wanted it, but James Gunn got fired from Guardians of the Galaxy 3 for something he said like 20 years ago or something, and he had already apologized for. That's what made him make the Suicide Squad. But when he was talking to Warner Brothers about making a DC movie, they wanted him to make a Superman movie, and he said no because he knew that his abilities were better suited for something like the Suicide Squad. So that shows me that he knows his strengths. He knows what he's good at doing and what he is better off maybe shepherding or co-writing or producing and letting somebody else take the reins on. So I don't necessarily think that we're going to see a James Gunn Superman movie announced next week or anything like that, but we may get Suicide Squad 2 or something, off the beaten path, Booster Gold or something.
Yeah. Well, and Booster Gold would be a nice, weird one to bring in, and then you combo that with Blue Beetle and problem solved.
Yeah, it'd be great. Anyway, very excited about this, I have to say.
We know he does love a team, so.
That's right. He does love a team. He does love a team up.
He's 3 for 3.
Or even give him the next Justice League movie. I feel like he'd be good at that. Maybe I think he's really good at character interactions, and he's really good at radically different characters interacting in a certain way. And, I feel like either version of Justice League, whether it's the Joss Whedon version or the Zack Snyder version, like they're all kind of writing those characters the same way. And I think James Gunn has a better ability to write different characters in different ways, the way that they should be talking, but then making them all work together at the same time. Like, he's not going to write Batman the same way he writes Superman. He's not going to write Wonder Woman the same way he writes Aquaman.
Right.
Like that kind of stuff. And, they don't all have to be like quippy joke machines, and they all don't have to be broody emo versions of heroes at the same time, Anyway, very excited about the future of DC. To me, honestly, right now, Henry Cavill back as Superman, James Gunn taking over DC Studios. This is the first time in a long time that I have felt not excited, because there's been things I've been excited about, the Batman, things like that.
This is the first time in a long time that we haven't had DC news that's just horrible.
Yeah. That's also true. But it's the first time in a long time that I have felt confident, is the word I would use. Confident about the future of DC films.
Right.
In a long time.
And I think with good reason.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of the future of DC, and it'll be interesting to see if James Gunn gets his hands on any of these things. We got a couple updates on some previously announced DC series this week. An Arkham Asylum update, speaking about Matt Reeves. First, we're going to start with the Arkham Asylum one, and it's a short one. The Batman spinoff, Arkham Asylum, was originally going to be a Gotham City Police Department show until they realized that Arkham Asylum is more interesting and probably less problematic than a cop show being made in 2022. It's got a director and a showrunner. Antonio Campos from The Staircase is going to helm the Arkham Asylum Batman spinoff series. Now, we don't really know anything about this. What characters from the Batman might be appearing in this, or will it take place entirely in Arkham Asylum? What villains are we going to see? I mean, if it's going to be in Arkham Asylum, we're going to see some villains. Might as well throw a name or two in there. But it's cool to see that, after all the shakeup of the merger and Batgirl cancellation and whatever else cancellation, that this show is still moving forward. So that's to me, a good sign that they're still invested in Matt Reeves' vision of Gotham City and his Batman universe that I'm very excited about.
Had Batgirl wrapped?
Not completely. I think they were in post-production, though. It had wrapped filming.
Right.
They were in post-production. They had effects work to do.
I wonder, with the new direction and all that, if there's any remote chance. Even as an HBO Now release.
Here's what I think about that.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, what I said weeks ago, I think really the reason that was canceled was because it rested too heavily on the fact that Michael Keaton was being brought back in The Flash to be the new mainline Batman of the DCEU. I don't think they want to do that.
Okay.
No, I haven't gotten confirmation necessarily, but I don't think they want to do that anymore. I think they want to keep that a separate universe, and maybe we'll visit that. And Warner Brothers has even said, after they canceled Batgirl, I think they even said that they would it's possible that they would even like Leslie Grace to continue as that character, to be Batgirl again in the future, just not in this movie.
Right.
So I think that it's really just because of that. And I think that if they had announced it in a different way or gone about it in a different way, that they could have saved themselves a lot of bad press and a lot of backlash, because it really came out as Batgirl's being canceled and taken as a tax write-off. And it's being canceled because they want a tax write-off.
Right. If they'd have presented it differently, that it could have saved some of that PR and hey, we're canceling this not because we just want a tax write-off. Yes, tax write-off bonus. But we're taking things in a different direction. We don't want it to go this way. We do, and even like you said, straight up say we want Leslie Grace as Batgirl.
We want Brendan Fraser as Firefly moving forward. Right. But we need to go in a different direction.
Right. But it's a story issue, not a tax write-off issue.
Yes, I mean, and they bungled it. I'm not saying that they that's the only thing that they did wrong. They didn't tell the directors that they didn't have a conversation with them before doing it. They did it terrible ways. But I think they probably could have saved themselves some bad press if they had done it in a different manner, or just spent the money to reshoot the Michael Keaton stuff with somebody else or whatever. You know, like,
Right.
I don't know, like shelve it until you got a plan and then reshoot the stuff you need to reshoot. Don't just completely get rid of it. That seems dumb. Anyway, I can't remember what we were talking about, the Batgirl stuff, but
I took us on a tangent after you mentioned it. Post Arkham Asylum, pre Green Lantern news.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, it's just good to know that the Arkham Asylum show is still moving forward. Also, we got some information on the long-awaited Green Lantern series from HBO Max that was announced back in 2019. I say long-awaited, and guess what? It's going to be even longer a wait because this series is being quote-unquote redeveloped, which, if you read the article from Hollywood Reporter, means basically starting from scratch. The series, like I said, was announced in 2019. It was said to focus on a number of Green Lanterns, including Alan Scott and Guy Gardner, both of which were officially cast people as these two characters, but now is starting over completely, being rewritten, and it's going to focus on Green Lantern John Stewart, which I think is a very smart play, which I think it's insane that they have not done a live-action John Stewart. It's insane that he wasn't part of the Justice League. It's insane that he wasn't teased in any live-action film. And it's insane that they didn't announce him as being one of the casts of this original Green Lantern show. When they announced it, John Stewart was the main Green Lantern in the DC animated universe for a long time. In the 2000s, late 2000s, he was in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited and all the spin-off shows and movies and things. Like, a generation of people grew up with John Stewart as their Green Lantern. Why wouldn't you? Apparently it was Walter Hamada that had shelved the idea of John Stewart. He's the one that didn't let him use it. He didn't Zack Snyder filmed a cameo of John Stewart for his Zack Snyder's Justice League, and they didn't let him put it in.
Is that how we ended up with Martian Manhunter instead?
That's how we ended up with Martian Manhunter. Exactly.
Okay.
And there was also
DC things.
I know. I guess they also wanted him to be in this show initially, and Walter Hamada said no. So that's another reason. I don't know why, because it's not like they were developing a movie with John Stewart that we know of. I guess like, why shelve the character? Who knows? But
and it makes sense
now
to get away from Hal Jordan, like.
Exactly.
Just from
and
the 2020 or 2011 film, like, if nothing else, you're separating yourself, and there's enough other lanterns around that you can just grab one. And John Stewart is the recognizable next one.
Yes, exactly. Showrunner Seth Grahame-Smith has also departed the project. I don't know if he was a casualty or just didn't like the new direction or whatever, but executive producer Greg Berlanti, whose name you might know from every Arrowverse show on the CW, is staying on board to redevelop it. Still going to be an HBO Max exclusive Green Lantern show, just going to focus more on John Stewart, which I think is a really smart move. And you can introduce other lanterns. You can get to Guy Gardner. You can go back to Alan Scott. You can have Hal Jordan just on the sideline somewhere.
Right.
You know, make it
all
like
of them in cameos. Or like
exactly. They had at one point they were developing a Green Lantern movie that was going to be like a buddy cop film, like just a buddy cop in space thing with Hal Jordan training John Stewart. That was the idea, and it was rumored for a while. It would have been great. It was rumored for a while that they were after Tom Cruise to be Hal Jordan in that movie. Except the rumor that I remember hearing is that Tom Cruise said no because the script involved Hal Jordan dying at the end, like, in passing, like the Obi-Wan Luke thing, like, I am your mentor, but now I'm dead and it's up to you, that kind of thing. And Tom Cruise didn't want to die. Classic Tom Cruise.
I was going to say that's very much like The Rock. Like everyone knew where Black Adam was going because The Rock can't lose a fight. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep. So anyway, that's a bummer, but also a good thing, because I think the show has probably better chance of success if it's focusing on a more popular character, or more popular version of a character, I should say. And you could leave the door open for any number of thousands of other Green Lantern characters. So I'm still excited, even though it's clearly going to take a lot longer to get back to screens. So that's all the DC stuff we got, but we're not done. We got some Marvel stuff that we're going to hit up. We got
We've got Marvel stuff and then a bunch of other stuff too.
Yeah, we're not even close to being done.
No.
This week to me felt like, I don't know, Steve, do you remember like in, I will say, early 2010s or so, when like the Avengers had come out already, like Marvel was starting to like really like be firing on all cylinders, and DC had put out Man of Steel, but they were like still kind of like fumbling, trying to like, they're still playing catch up.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like there was every news cycle where DC would be like, bam, we're making Batman versus Superman. Marvel would be like, boom, here's the trailer for Captain America Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And be like, ah, and like steal the news
What
cycle.
do I do?
And like they always claim that they didn't mean it like that, but it really always seemed like
Mhm.
DC would announce something and then Marvel would be like, ba-bam, we're doing this. Ba-bam, Civil War, ba-bam, whatever. It really seemed like that for a while. This week felt like that to me, although I think DC came out on top this time.
Yeah,
because
they were definitely, it seemed like they were swinging at each other because there was some big Marvel stuff coming down.
Because it was like the weekend after Black Adam like crushed it at the box office, and then the day after that weekend, Cavill was like, boom, baby, I'm back as Superman. So Marvel's like, all right, we got to take some views back.
Mhm.
We're going to drop 2 trailers. Bam, Ant-Man Quantumania. Bam, Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. Same day. Later that day, bam, James Gunn is taking over DC.
Right.
James Gunn, the same guy that wrote and directed your precious Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. Boom. He's heading up all of our stuff. I just thought that was really funny.
Oh, no. And it's like, and Ant-Man, I wonder if it was calculated because Ant-Man I didn't expect to see a trailer for until Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, I know. Same.
You know, did they pull it back and be like, all right, well, there's too much DC talk. Let's drop this.
Yeah, let's drop a little bit.
And
it was really funny.
The best part about all of that is folks like us that are just like, oh, we have more things to watch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny to see James Gunn retweet the trailer for the Guardians holiday special after he'd been announced as like head of DC.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I also worked on this. Don't forget, I'm still doing this.
Did this really cool thing. It's okay.
Yeah. I mean, I totally still care about it. You know, you should definitely watch that too. But also, hey, here's my new job. I'm sure that was a conversation like, hey, yeah, I'll definitely take over your DC stuff, but I'm going to have to promote this Marvel stuff. You're just going to have to put up with it, you know. But anyway, we got these 2 trailers. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania and Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Start with an Ant-Man trailer. Steve, what'd you think of this trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, Ant-Man 3?
Visually stunning.
Agreed.
Like completely and utterly stunning.
Mm-hmm.
They from what they showed in the trailer, there was no VFX problems in Marvel Land this time.
No, not yet.
Maybe this is what everybody's been working on.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
but it looked great. The story seems intriguing. Of like the fact that Janet seems to be holding something back from everybody else when Hope activates the
quantum
stature. What's her name?
Cassie.
Cassie. There you go. It was like
quantum signal satellite thing.
Like when she activates this random, like she's been hanging out with Hank for too long and now can create these things on her own.
Right.
It was a really cool, like, oh, you did what? Oh, don't do that. Oh, I already did it. All right, we're going to the quantum realm. Right. And finding out the quantum realm isn't quite what everybody thought it was. It's going to be interesting. And Jonathan Majors playing Kang as a completely different character than what's his face, He Who Remains. Is great. Loki. And I'm sure we're going to see multiple iterations of the various Nathaniel Richardses over the course of this phase.
Yeah.
But seeing that introduction was just great to like get a grasp of, okay, he's here, he's back, and he's still very good at acting.
Yeah. I watched a reaction from a YouTube channel called Heroes Reforged that I recommend. They're great. I love those guys. And one of them had been at San Diego Comic-Con when they showed a trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp. And he said that a lot of it was similar a lot of this version they released was similar to what they saw at Comic-Con. However, there was a line in the Comic-Con trailer that was not in this one, which was Kang, Jonathan Majors, looking at Paul Rudd and saying, "Ant-Man, haven't I killed you already?"
Oh,
Referencing some kind of like alternate
reality,
timeline,
yeah.
alternate reality version that they've already faced off. So I thought that was interesting, and I agree that I think this looks great. I'm like kind of I've seen a lot of people say like I love the Ant-Man movies; they're my favorite Marvel series or whatever. I am mixed on the Ant-Man movies. I think the first one's pretty good. It's got a lot of great parts. It kind of is like it's a little messy for me. The second one, this might be a hot take. I don't know. I really don't like Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like it's low on my list. Like we're talking down near Iron Man 2 level for me
Okay.
as far as I really don't like that movie. It just does not work for me. And I know plenty of people love it, so
There were parts that were good. There were parts that just didn't hit. Like in the MCU pantheon, it's definitely in the bottom third.
To me, it bothers me. It breaks the rules that the first movie set up. Like you can't shrink without a suit. Suit's very important because it's the only thing that can shrink. Except I guess if you're just in a van that can shrink, then you shrink too. Like that happens at the end of it, and then like Hank's like, I can't put on the suit anymore. In the first one, I've done it too much, and then he just does it in the second one,
Right.
without really thinking about it. It's like, okay, you're changing what you told me was canon or like true from the first movie, and this now I'm out.
No,
Also, there's like by the end of it, there's like no villain. There's like not even a bad guy by the end of it because like Ghost is like reformed
Ghost ends up
and
being,
there's like, what are we doing
it's
here?
basically
What's going on?
Lawrence Fishburne is the bad guy.
Yeah, and he's not even really a bad guy. And what I loved about the first one was all like the shrinking and interacting with like things as a small thing, and they barely even do that in the second one at all. Like that should be an Ant-Man movie. That should be what the whole thing is.
One would think.
Yeah. Anyway,
that said, though, both of them, two of the more fun Marvel movies.
Sure. Yes.
Like even if you don't like two, it's like it still has its moments where it's just like, yeah, it's still just enjoyable.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. And this movie looks more, for better or for worse, this movie looks less like the first two. Is that it looks less like a lighthearted comedy and more like a straight up Marvel Avengers style movie. Not only the effects, but also like the plot line. It seems very like a heavier, more like the stakes are higher for Ant-Man this time.
Right. This is a
which I think is
setting shit up movie.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's also like, I think it's time that he is, I mean, obviously he was a big component in Endgame.
Literally.
But, yep. Big and small component in Endgame if you're talking like that. But also, I think I like the fact that they are giving him like his own, a bigger challenge, like more stakes for Ant-Man instead of just like, I gotta stop this. It's like it's weird for me to say that because usually I'm the other way around.
Right.
But because like Ant-Man and the Wasp was kind of like lower stakes a little bit, just kind of like had to steal back the lab and stuff, I guess, it wasn't like a world-ending thing, but usually I'm like, yo, I want like street level, just like go stop a heist kind of thing. And now I'm just happy to see Ant-Man doing something on a huger scale. I like that it looks like Michelle Pfeiffer has a bigger role in this because I feel like she's kind of wasted in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like you got Michelle Pfeiffer and she says like two things in that whole movie. So yeah, I'm excited for this one. I'll see. It certainly. I hope that it does more. I hope that it's more than just a setup movie. Like you mentioned that they're setting stuff up. I hope that it's its own story and isn't just like a prequel to whatever the next thing is supposed to be. But
no, and that's, I mean, it's going to be one of the keystones to this phase. So, from Wakanda Forever to what is it, February when this drops?
Wow.
Yeah. I don't think there's any, to my knowledge, there's not any TV in between there.
Well, besides what we're about to talk about, the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
But like no ongoing series, so it's just like they're gonna let Wakanda Forever breathe.
Yeah.
And then send you down this new rabbit hole.
Yep.
So we'll see whether, like you said, whether it's too much setup or whether it's a decent standalone movie with setup.
Yeah, we will see. We will see. And speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, we got a trailer for that one too. And boy, that looks just delightful. I gotta say.
Do we have 6 degrees of the Guardians? Or
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas Special will star among, you got your Star-Lords, you got your Groot, you got your Rockets, you got your Mantises, you got your Drax the Destroyers. Did I see, is Nebula in it?
I didn't see her in the
I
trailer.
didn't see Nebula,
Cosmo is
and I
though.
didn't. Cosmo the dog.
Yep.
And is Gamora in it? I didn't
I
remember
didn't
seeing
see
Gamora.
Gamora or Nebula.
Like, I mean, we don't really know what Gamora is up to because
Which Gamora?
Well, one of them's
Yeah.
dead,
No, fair.
so not that one.
We know what she's doing.
We know what she's doing, lying still.
Hanging out with Red Skull, formerly not Red Skull, maybe Red Skull.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, in addition to all those characters, Kevin Bacon is in this movie playing himself as a reference to, Footloose and all that they talked about in, was it the first one or the second one they talk about Kevin Bacon being the hero of Earth?
Might be the
I think it's
first
the first.
one.
It's the second. It's the first one, I think. Because the second one they talk about David Hasselhoff.
There you go.
Yeah. So very funny. I think it was like seemingly Mantis and Drax try to kidnap Kevin Bacon to make Star-Lord as a Christmas present for Star-Lord. Seems very funny.
That seems perfect.
Yeah. Very excited about that. I don't remember when that drops, but obviously sometime late November, early December.
Yeah, I'd assume the way, like, if Werewolf dropped early November, so I'd assume this is probably similar.
Yeah.
In the sense that
And like Hawkeye was a Christmas thing, and that hit up like mid-November, I think.
So by similar, I mean that it will be released on November 25th, 2022.
Oh,
so
later November than I expected. Okay.
Yep. So
around Thanksgiving-ish.
Yeah, Thanksgiving-ish. We'll go with that.
Cool. Can't wait for that.
Oh, Black Friday.
Also, what's that?
It is Black Friday.
Oh, Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. Smart. Marvel, I gotta say, thank you for waiting until after Thanksgiving to drop your Christmas content.
Yeah, and
I gotta say,
confirming or competing with the U.S. and England in the World Cup. So I don't know how much
the World Cup.
the Venn diagram of our listeners and World Cup watchers will be, but yeah.
Well, you and I are smack dab in the middle of that
There you go.
Venn diagram, I gotta say. Although you'll have to remind me because I don't follow sport. I like the World Cup
Right.
a lot, but I don't follow sports enough to know when it's happening. So
That's what I'm
once
here
you
for,
tell me
man.
when it's
That's what I'm here
happening,
for.
I'll mark my calendar and then I'll be all set. But
There you go. Black Friday, U.S. versus England, 2:00. There you go.
can't wait. That's what I'm doing that day. Speaking of Marvel, we got one more Marvel story. This was just announced, I believe, today or yesterday. Deadline is reporting that Paul Bettany is in talks to return as Vision for a Disney Plus series called Vision Quest. The showrunner would be Jack Schaefer, who was the showrunner of WandaVision and also Agatha, Coven of Chaos. And teasing a possible appearance from Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda Maximoff. That's really all the information that there is.
Right. There's no clarification whether this is Vision or White Vision.
Right.
Or who or what iteration of Vision. So we'll see where this goes.
I mean, I would assume that it is White Vision since the other one just didn't
Kind of doesn't exist anymore.
Didn't really exist,
Yeah.
right? Interesting. That would be my guess. Because he's still out there. He just flew away. We don't know what happened to him. But and I mean, that's all. We don't know anything about the series. We don't know a plot. We don't know timeline or nothing. We don't know when it takes place. It could be, I guess, if it was a prequel, then it could be regular Vision. But my guess is that they want to keep within their continuity and figure out what's going on with that white Vision there at the end of WandaVision. So we'll see.
Confusing endings.
Nothing really else to talk about that. Does that seem like something you're excited about? Would you? I don't know. Is Vision a good enough character to anchor his own show?
I almost felt for a while that he anchored WandaVision.
Yeah, but with Wanda though, right?
Now with him off in the ether, who knows? I guess if they can come up with some compelling something of what White Vision went off and did after the Ship of Theseus battle there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It'll be weird to see because, well, they gotta have something solid because otherwise it's just gonna be a rudderless.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Rudderless mess.
I feel like Vision is an interesting character when he is juxtaposed against another character
Yeah.
that is either challenging him or informing him in a way. But him as a lead character, I don't know if he's inherently interesting enough.
Right.
To
Well,
drive
Vision
the
Quest
series.
on the name would be White Vision going to find himself.
Oh, wow. Okay, then that sounds exactly probably like what they're gonna do.
Right. Like going on a Vision Quest was always like the go find yourself. So maybe that's what we're in for.
You're right. All
Don't
right.
know how it
Okay.
took like multiple readings of the title and whatnot for that to pop through, but
I didn't think about it until you said it.
Yeah.
So
okay. Here
so
we
thank
go.
you. Here we go. All right, that is all the Marvel news we got, but it's not all the news we got, ladies and gentlemen. We are diving into a universe that we don't talk about nearly enough, I don't believe. But there's some huge news in the world of Doctor Who this week. Doctor Who, to refresh the listener's memory, I don't believe, Steve, you have never watched Doctor Who. Is that correct?
I watched a lot of Matt Smith and early Tennant.
Okay.
That
So
was
you're
it.
familiar enough. Well, I was a big Doctor Who fan, starting not so much the early stuff, but like the new Who that started in like 2005 or whatever with it's Christopher Eccleston, is that his name?
Yes.
And then
Yep.
then David Tennant, Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi. I dropped off during Peter Capaldi's run. I've heard great things about the Jodie Whittaker run. Haven't caught up, but I do love this show. I did love it for a long time. And anytime, for those of you who don't know, the Doctor, star of Doctor Who, is not called Doctor Who. They're just the Doctor. And they're an alien, and they have a certain amount of time in a certain body. And when that time is up, they regenerate into a new version of themselves. And yes, this is a way for people that make the show to continue the show going on with a new actor. When the actor that is playing the Doctor is sick of continuing as the Doctor, or their contract is up, they move on and they replace the Doctor with a new actor as the same-ish character. That's their way of keeping the show running for over 50 years.
Right.
So anytime the Doctor regenerates, it's a big deal because you're losing one actor that you have been connected to for 3 or 4 seasons, and you have to start getting used to a new actor in the same role. It's a very challenging thing that you have to do. Often you start out hating the new actor, and then you get to know them and you love them, and then by the time it's time for them to regenerate, you're incredibly sad that you are saying goodbye to this actor and have to start all over with a new actor, but it's just part of the fun and challenge of the show. It happens every 3 or 4 seasons of Doctor Who, and you got to get rid of an actor and get used to a new one.
Right. And that was, I
So-
experienced the late Tennant run into Smith, and it
Oh,
was just
yeah.
like, but who's this
But what?
guy? Like, where did, oh, he's good too. Okay, this is fine.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's exactly like that. So I believe we reported on this podcast, it was previously announced that when Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, when she regenerated, she was going to be replaced by Ncuti Gatwa. It would be the first Doctor played by a black man. Very exciting. Ncuti Gatwa was going to be the next Doctor. So when Jodie Whittaker's final episode aired this past week, she gave a very tearful and beautiful, fond farewell to her time as the Doctor and began the regeneration process, and, throwing their arms out to the sides and having flames, sparks, light shooting out of the head, the arms, so you can't really see what's going on. And everyone was expecting Ncuti Gatwa, but boy, were we surprised when she regenerated not into Ncuti Gatwa, but into David Tennant, the aforementioned by Steve, David Tennant, who played the Doctor in 4 or maybe like 4 seasons and a few specials
Yeah.
of Doctor Who. He was the
He was the
10th
10th,
Doctor, and he's my favorite. He's my favorite Doctor of the Doctors that I've seen.
And also the best Marvel villain ever.
Yes, yeah, who played Kilgrave in the Jessica Jones series. David Tennant is a tremendous actor. I love him in everything. I love him very much as Doctor Who. I think this was a really cool idea because they always announce who the Doctor is going to be before the regeneration happens. So you're expecting so you know who's going to show up. You know who it's going to fade into when they're regenerating. This is a great way to not only announce who the next Doctor is going to be, but then also surprise the fans with something else. They did not say that David Tennant was going to come back as Doctor Who, but apparently he is. BBC has announced that there's going to be 3 new Doctor Who specials starring David Tennant, and not only David Tennant, Catherine Tate coming back as Donna Noble, one of his companions as his run on Doctor Who. Those are going to be coming next year, November 2023. They're already being filmed. There was a very short teaser trailer that played after the regeneration episode. These are going to be followed by a new full season that will include Ncuti Gatwa as the Doctor, starting the holiday season of 2023. So, be assured. I guess those 3 episodes are coming out in quick succession, and then we'll quickly. He will assumedly regenerate into the new Doctor. And not only did they say that David Tennant is back, they specified that David Tennant is not playing the 10th Doctor. He's playing the 13th Doctor. 14th Doctor. So it's the same body, but a new Doctor. What does that mean? I don't know. Showrunner Russell T Davies said that Tennant is not playing the 10th Doctor, but the 14th Doctor. And he went on to say this: maybe this is a missing story, or a parallel world, or a dream, or a trick, or a flashback. The only thing I can confirm is that it's going to be spectacular, as 2 of our greatest stars reunite for the battle of a lifetime. If you thought the appearance of David Tennant was a shock, we've got plenty more surprises on the way. The path to Nakuti's 15th Doctor is laden with mystery, horror, robots, puppets, danger, and fun. And how is it connected to the return of the wonderful Donna Noble? How? What? Why? We're giving you a year to speculate, and then all hell lets loose. We also know that the villain for the David Tennant, Catherine Tate specials will be by Neil Patrick Harris, and that all new episodes of Doctor Who moving forward are going to be available on Disney Plus. That was another huge announcement from the world of Doctor Who.
Big drop for the mouse.
When we teased that, there was a rumor that they were trying to acquire Doctor Who a few weeks ago because it's just more like family-friendly content. And honestly, it fits pretty perfectly in with like the art audience that Disney is trying to target. Back episodes, I think, are going to still stay wherever they are now, either BBC America. I think they're on HBO Max right now. But I believe the deal with Disney Plus is just for any new episodes moving forward for the time being. So, holy wow, that is a whole lot of news for the Doctor Who fandom in 1 week.
I also didn't realize, well, I guess the Donna Noble thing is going to be its own animal, because if it's not the 10th Doctor, where does she fit into things? But
right,
I never realized how long Russell T Davies had been, like literally since the 2005 reincarnation of Doctor Who, like bring it back from the dead.
Yeah,
he's been tied into it. Like he was a producer on the original runs.
He left for a while and came back.
Okay.
I think he left with Tennant the first time.
Gotcha.
So he did the Christopher Eccleston season and like the 4 or 5 David Tennant seasons.
Yep. And then left.
And then passed to, I can't remember the guy's name that took over for Matt Smith. And I believe it was the same guy that did Peter Capaldi. I think a new showrunner came on for Jodie Whittaker. But they're bringing Russell T Davies back. All this is happening for the big 60th anniversary of Doctor Who. So never been a better time to jump into Doctor Who. If anyone out there is interested in Doctor Who, hit me up. I can give you a few key episodes to hook you, to wet your beak, as they say, to get you in to what's going on. It's a super fun, interesting, funny, adventurous, heartwarming of sci-fi and crazy aliens. It's a lot of fun.
And it's that nice episodic, like things get tied up, but there's still some through lines. And
yeah, exactly. Yep. I gotta say that I've been meaning to catch up on Doctor Who for a long time. And now knowing that my favorite Doctor is coming back is, I think, really what's going to make me do it. And I have a year to catch up. I have a year to watch that last Peter Capaldi season and then like the 3 Jodie Whittakers, and then I'm good to go starting November 2023 for more David Tennant. Can't wait.
So
absolutely can't wait.
Thinking of Doctors, that brought me to Matt Smith, who of course brought me to House of the Dragon. Did you see the finale?
No, I am 2 episodes back on House of the Dragon still, dude. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you got some catching up to do because there's some things happen, sir.
I know, man. At the beginning of this episode, you mentioned my Halloween party that I have every year. That takes up a lot of my time because I decorate my entire house like a completely insane person, and it takes a long time.
Goddamn good though.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks. I think I got to scale it back a little bit next year because I was a little sleep deprived this week. I gotta say, I was up too late. But also it's just like I love Halloween, and so like this close to Halloween, I only want to be watching spooky stuff.
Right.
Like that's part of the reason I haven't watched Tales of the Jedi yet. It's part of the reason I haven't caught up on House of the Dragon because like, well, yeah, but I'd rather just watch Alien again because it's like horror movie season. I just want to watch creepy stuff. And I did watch Alien last night, by the way. That movie is incredible.
Still
I love
phenomenal.
it so much. It's still so good. So anyway, but this week, Halloween is tomorrow. It's going to be over. And then starting November 1st, I'm all full back into nerddom. I'm going to catch up on Tales from Jedi, catch up on House of the Dragon, and be good to go.
There you go.
I promise you.
And
Sigourney
Weaver,
dear listener.
very nice lady.
Have you met her?
Yeah, she has a camp right next to her old hunting camp.
Is that a joke?
No, she has a camp in Long Lake, New York.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You've met Sigourney Weaver?
In passing, yeah.
Steve! How's the first time you're telling me this? Live on a podcast? You've met Sigourney Weaver?
You've literally
met Ellen Ripley?
Yeah. Just literally like at the gates for the hunting camp and her road. Just, hey, how you doing?
God,
yeah.
Really?
Just like I said, literally like, hi, how are you? That was it.
What? My mind is
blowing your mind, man.
Steve. Oh man, that is awesome.
Yep.
When are you gonna see her again?
Probably never.
Can I come up?
They just sold their hunting camp out.
Shit.
Yep.
Oh,
Steve. So there goes that idea.
Well, now I'm even more mad that I've known you for so many years, and now they're selling it. You're telling me after they've already sold the camp.
Yep.
You could have told me a year ago before they sold it.
Hindsight. Yeah.
I mean, what am I going to do? Come up and stalk Sigourney Weaver?
Right, just awkwardly. Hey, how you doing? Yep. So,
I'm mad that you've met Sigourney Weaver.
Now, you mean Avatar: The Way of Water, Sigourney Weaver, or no?
I mean Alien. Alien and Aliens.
Yes.
Sigourney Weaver. That's
absolutely.
What I mean. And Galaxy Quest is Sigourney Weaver.
True.
And in a cameo appearance, Cabin in the Woods is Sigourney Weaver.
There you go. Yeah, it's that's a looking at her filmography. That's an impressive one.
Oh, how are we forgetting Ghostbusters? By the way, Ghostbusters, Sigourney Weaver. How could I forget that? God damn it, Steve!
Really, just threw you for a loop with that one, didn't I?
I'm all off balance now, man. Oh God, there's an Alien poster on my wall right there, and I watched it last night.
Oh, that's great.
My God.
Oh, The Village, too. Didn't know that.
The M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Apparently. Holes?
I saw The Village in theaters. I thought it was really dumb.
I find most M. Night Shyamalan movies to fall in that category.
I haven't gone back after... I like Signs.
Been a couple too many times after Signs.
Yeah, I mean, Sixth Sense, great. Sure. Signs, I think, is good.
It was like peak
and then
steady decline.
Steady decline. I heard like, well, no, he had the Split was like good, right? And then that was a like a backdoor into.
Was that
Unbreakable?
Oh,
it was like a backdoor sequel to Unbreakable. That's what,
Right.
And then there was a whole like Avengers level team up movie with the Split character and
Split was
Unbreakable
McAvoy, right?
characters. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I
That was
didn't
good.
see it.
Yes, that was good.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Beyond that, I
Whatever.
don't know. Oh, Glass is the team up of
Glass
whatever.
is the team up one. Yeah, that's right. And he also did a movie called Old, where like people age rapidly on a beach,
Yeah,
which I don't care to see.
the poster is a skeleton leg and a regular leg on a beach. So
Yes, it is.
that doesn't really grab me as something I want to see.
Yeah.
So we'll just not watch that.
He also did a movie called Lady in the Water, which was the movie that I took my now wife to on our very first date.
Huh.
I don't remember much of the movie, but we're married now, so
Hey.
that's good.
Worked out in hindsight.
So thanks, M. Night Shyamalan, and thank you, Steve, for not telling me that you had a personal connection to Sigourney Weaver until it was too late for me to capitalize on it.
Ah, there you go. And Lady in the Water starred Bryce Dallas Howard, who is the voice of Yaddle in Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah,
There we
big
go.
shock.
Long
And also-
circular reference back to the beginning of the pod.
And I haven't watched Tales of the Jedi, but I have heard that her as Yaddle, that Yaddle speaks normally,
Yes.
which means Yoda is just like
He just got hit in the head
weird-
as a kid or
a
something.
weird little gremlin
Like,
that likes
yeah.
talking weird.
Yep. So this now
Okay.
officially confirms that Yoda's speech patterns are just him.
It's just him, I guess. Like, you couldn't have made that a species thing? Like, why not make her talk like that? That seems strange to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
Who knows?
Yeah, now it's just him being weird.
Yeah. All right. We got no big comics news this week specifically, but we do have a list of some great comics coming to your local comic book shop this week, this Wednesday. Look out for, Batman number 129, which I will not read until I pick up my 127 from you, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Batman and the
Forgot to bring
Joker,
that to your
Deadly.
house the other day, by the way.
What's that?
Totally forgot to bring that to your house the other day.
Yeah, I did think about that. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, he's here. Great. And no comic book? Okay. I didn't really think that. Batman and the Joker, Deadly Duo, number 1. Black Panther, number 11. Captain Marvel, number 43. Cherish, number 1. Deadpool, number 1. Gotham City, Year 1, number 2. Heart Eyes, number 3. Hell to Pay, number 1. Hulk, number 10. Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing, number 2. Monkey Prince, number 8. New Champion of Shazam, number 3. Poison Ivy, number 6. Very excited about this, I gotta say.
That's the culmination, right?
That's the final issue, I believe, in this G. Willow Wilson miniseries of Poison Ivy.
Which has been great.
That has been great. Honestly, I'm looking forward to the trade of that just to pick it up so I can reread it over and over again. Purple Oblivion, number 1. Secret Invasion, number 1. I wonder why they're putting out a book called Secret Invasion. Probably
No clue.
to promote the show that's coming out, right? We got Star Wars 29, Star Wars Bounty Hunters 28, Vampirella versus Red Sonja number 1. What? Gotta see who wins that. And X-Men Red number 8. All those books and more going to be at your local comic book shop this Wednesday. Steve, you reading anything lately? Have you gotten back onto reading anything?
No, not at all.
Great.
No. Still reading through The Hobbit.
Great. Oh, there you go. Just
Yeah.
by yourself?
It's that. So I always have like the one book I read as I'm going to bed.
Okay, yeah.
So like I have my physical copies and whatnot, but I
Right.
picked it up on digital just to, I was like, oh, Rings of Power. I'm in Lord of the Rings mode. Let's reread those. But when you read like 5 pages before you crash, it takes a while.
Takes you a little bit. Yeah,
But,
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. I have been. Did I say? I can't remember if I said that I read the most recent Batman One Bad Day, the Penguin book. I don't remember if I said I read it or not, but I did read it, and it's
no,
really great.
I know you talked about the Two-Face one.
Two-Face one was great. Penguin one's really good too. Penguin one's a different kind of setup for the story. I say it's
Okay.
more focused on Penguin, I guess. As
I
a
still
main
haven't read
character, not-
Riddler.
Oh, dude, you got to. So
So.
good. I've read that. I haven't really read any other comics again because of the spooky season preoccupying my mind. But I'm very excited to dive back in once I'm free. Once I'm free from the clutches of the Halloween spirit, I'll get right back on it. Moving into some one shots. wrapping up this episode. The Flash season 9 has added Javicia Leslie, the actress that played Batwoman on the CW's Batwoman. She's going to be the villain of the final season of The Flash, season 9. At first, when I read this article, I thought she was just going to be Batwoman in The Flash.
That would make sense.
Similarly, would make sense, but no, she's playing a different character, and she's going to be the bad guy, the big bad, I guess. So,
okay,
interesting to see what that'll be like, and I'm sure Arrowverse fans will be happy to see her after the Batwoman got canceled unceremoniously.
Oh, was that one of the ones that went the way of the buffalo for CW fans?
Yes,
nowhere.
that's one of the ones that got the axe. Yeah, it's really just I think there's another season of Stargirl, and there's the Flash, and there's Superman and Lois. There hasn't been any news on whether Superman and Lois is going to continue or not, or Stargirl, but I don't hear much about Stargirl. I do hear a good amount about Superman and Lois, so hopefully that continues on. Maybe it's an HBO Max exclusive, but it's going to be, it's crazy that at one time there was like 10 DC shows on CW, and now they're slowly, not so slowly, pretty rapidly paring them down to one or two. But
right down to a handful.
Yeah.
Next bit of news is that Kelly Marcel will direct Venom 3. She co-wrote Venom Let There Be Carnage, will also be writing 3, as well as stepping into the director's chair. The script will be based on a story idea from Marcel and Tom Hardy himself. So
interesting.
She is going to direct, write, and produce it.
Wow.
Prior, she had writer credits on Venom and Let There Be Carnage. She also has written in the past Saving Mr. Banks, 50 Shades of Grey, and Cruella.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
she's no slouch as a writer, for sure.
No, and all of those have nothing to do with Venom, but...
No, not at all.
She
wrote on Let There Be Carnage, at least, so...
Yeah, and Venom, and the
familiar.
original.
Oh, she did that too? Okay.
Yeah, she was an EP on Venom and a producer on Let There Be Carnage. So...
It is crazy to me when I remember that Andy Serkis directed Venom Let There Be Carnage.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Andy Serkis, who you will see in Andor this week.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And no, it's not Snoke.
Oh, yeah. Holy shit. In my head, I was like, wow, Andy Serkis in Star Wars, that's really exciting. And forgetting that we've already seen him in Star Wars twice.
Yep. It's amazing what happens when you're known as an actor who nobody ever sees.
Right. Yeah. That's a great point. He's been in tons of movies, and you've seen his face in a third of them.
Oh yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised if people had no idea who he was. You don't see his face in Rise of the Planet of the Apes or any of the Planet of the Apes stuff.
Lord of the Rings,
any of his big mocap, King Kong.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he did King Kong.
He was Kong.
Yeah.
Snoke.
Yeah, and Snoke. You do see him in Black Panther.
Yep.
You do see him in The Batman.
Yep.
As Alfred. And he's the same character in Avengers 2.
Claw.
There. Yeah. And then I'm sure he's been in other stuff, but those are the only two that I can think of besides Andor.
Yeah, any of the Hobbit movies.
Yeah, wild.
Yeah, he's everywhere, just not visible.
Yeah. Well, as much as I don't like either Venom movie, I'll be interested to see what they're going to do with the third one.
Yeah, why not?
Because they've already done Carnage. Unless they're doing Spider-Man, I can't imagine that I'll be very excited about it. But I don't know. The Sony thing is such a mystery. It's like they never do stuff that you're expecting them to do. They never do stuff that seems to make sense. So I'll be interested to see the next thing that we hear about Venom 3. It's just they're bringing in, I don't know, Green Goblin.
It's got to be they've got to go symbiotes, but they've already used a bunch of them. You can't go back to the Life Foundation.
I don't know. They could do anything. That series is wild. They could do anything. It's insane. Anyway, today we got a new trailer for the Disney Plus Willow series. We talked. They had a trailer at, was it Comic-Con or D23? I think D23. We got a Willow trailer. We got another one that's kind of highlights some more of the humor that's going to be in the film. A lot of its character interaction stuff I thought was really funny, like some cool action stuff, great visuals. This comes out November 30th, so we're getting close, almost a month away. Actually, exactly 1 month away from the debut of Willow on Disney Plus. I feel like this is I feel like it's going to be a fun series. Like I don't know that I'm going to be able to rewatch the actual movie before the series, but I would like to. Right. Maybe I'll try to squeeze out a rewatch. Not that I'd be shocked if they tied it in so heavily to the first one that you were going to be lost. I feel like they're smart enough to know, like, yo, this movie came out like 40 years ago.
Yeah, let's do some broad brush and
let's do plenty of, by the way, this is what happened if you were born in the last 35 years and didn't see the movie Willow.
Right.
But it looks good. I'm excited about it. Work, Davis looks great.
I didn't realize until the trailer I had somehow missed that Erin Kellyman was in. Who's she's played many things, including Enfys Nest and
Falcon and
Winter Soldier.
Yep.
So.
Yep. I love Enfys Nest.
That was great.
I love that movie. Yeah, that movie's great.
That movie gets better every time you watch it.
It really does. The farther you get away, so we're talking about Solo for those who are maybe more surface level nerd. The more you get away from having a problem with Alden Ehrenreich playing Han Solo instead of Harrison Ford, the better that movie is.
Oh, yeah.
If you can leave that baggage or all the behind-the-scenes stuff that we heard about before it came out, like, leave that at home and watch Solo, and you're like, damn, this is a great movie. It's so fun.
Right.
It's so fun. I wish more Star Wars was like that. I like the episodic, big stakes, galaxy-saving stuff, but also, like, yo, just give me more like Han and Chewie on an adventure. I just want that.
Right. Give me Andor where he is. Give me Han and Chewie doing their thing. Like, not everything has to be, swords and sorcery, lightsabers and force.
Yep.
So
yeah, sometimes you just need a good heist film.
Yep.
That's all you need. Just a good adventure. That's great.
So, speaking of things that, well, never mind. There's no good segue into it. Avatar, everybody's favorite movie they saw once, has a sequel, The Way of Water, and it's being reported at being 3 hours and 10 minutes long.
What?
How? Like, it was a stretch when these established franchises that people actually enjoyed were a 3-hour movie. And this is Avatar coming out 15 years after the original.
15 years.
And nobody called for it. Nobody wanted a sequel. And it's going to be 3 hours and 10 minutes long.
I have flip-flopped on this movie a number of times. For a long time, I was staunchly anti-Avatar 2.
Yep.
No one wants this. Who cares? No one cares anymore. It's too late. You've waited too long. It's too late. Then I saw the trailer. I hear some buzz about it. People are like, okay, well, it's James Cameron. The guy makes great movies. Don't count out James Cameron. Maybe this will be great. You never know. And now it's 3 hours and 10 minutes. Like, again, don't count out James Cameron. Maybe it's going to be great, but I was on the fence about going to see this in the theater when it came out. I'm not going to see this in the theater. I'm not going to see a 3 hour and 10 minute movie. I'm just not. I'm sorry. It's longer than Avengers Endgame.
Yeah. And I may flop again at some point, but at this point, I'm with you 100% of like, why? Why would I go to see this?
Yeah. I'm already not interested. Like, but I was not interested, but I was like open enough to be like, maybe to be great. I'll go see it.
Maybe it's the spectacle.
And maybe it'll change my mind. It's the spectacle, blah, blah, blah. But like 3 hours, no, I'm sorry. It's 4 minutes shorter than Titanic. And that's it. It's longer than Avengers Endgame, barely shorter than Titanic. But dude, not all movies have to be 3 hours. Not all movies have to be 2 hours. Make a decision. Make some cuts. Make this 2 movies. You're
Yeah.
already making 4 other Avatars. Why don't you just make this one 2? Who cares?
Turn it into
Anyway.
six of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be a
Whatever.
very, very long movie. Would you like to speak about a different long movie?
I would like to speak about a different long movie. Black Panther Wakanda Forever had its premiere this past week. Initial reactions have been, they seem to be very positive. I haven't read a ton because I don't want anything spoiled for me, but I've heard people calling it very different from the first movie, but not in a bad way. And I've seen people saying that it's one of Marvel's most poignant and powerful films to date. And I can believe that just based on how they seem to be addressing Chadwick Boseman's passing, along with the passing of T'Challa in the fictional film. And the trailers just look incredible. So I'm very excited to see this movie when it opens on November 11th. I'm not surprised that the initial reactions have been very positive. Not surprised at all. It seems like it's a slam dunk, and I hope that it is.
And this film will be 2 hours and 41 minutes long, which is a full half an hour shorter than Avatar: Way of Water. And this is a film that had a film prior to it that completely warranted, okay, we're going to sit through 2 hours and 41 minutes.
Yes. Yeah. And a film that came out less than 15 years ago.
Yeah. A film people remember.
Yeah.
A film that all of the people that are going to watch it will have been born before the prior or after the prior one, came out. Like, come on.
Yes. And starring characters that we've seen subsequently since the initial film. So like, oh yeah, the Black Panther world is still there. Wakanda's still a whole thing. Yeah.
It does exist.
My God. It does exist. All right. Well, normally that would be the end of our podcast, the last one shot. But because it's Devil's Night, it's the night before Halloween, I had to throw in some spooky one-shots, spooky bonus one-shots for you people tonight. So just going to end this on a spooky note. We got a couple. These aren't necessarily new items. These are from like sometime within the past month. First of all, I got to tell you, cult classic film Trick or Treat. Steve, have you ever seen Trick or Treat?
I have not.
Highly recommend. If you're not doing anything tomorrow night, Halloween, rent it, buy it somewhere. Trick or Treat. Great movie. It's like an anthology kind of movie. There's like 4 separate stories that kind of all tie in to one. There's like a few through lines that connect them all.
Nice.
It's very great. It's very scary, very funny. It's just like a wild ride. It's great. Came out years ago, and it's finally possibly getting a sequel, according to writer-director Michael Dougherty. Sequel is in, quote, very active development. Although it's not officially greenlit, Dougherty is in talks with Legendary Pictures to get the long-awaited film off the ground. Huge news for any fans of the original film or spooky horror Halloween film fans in general. We also got a few weeks ago a behind-the-scenes shot from the upcoming Evil Dead Rise, the new Evil Dead movie that I'm very excited about. Steve, I know you're an Evil Dead guy, right?
Absolutely.
We've talked about that before. Yeah. Did you ever
Evil,
see
Evil Dead Guy sounds like it could be another, like a sequel to a Rob Zombie song.
Yeah, or
just fit it right into Living Dead Girl.
Or a beer spinoff. Evil Dead Guy, not just Rogue Dead Guy. Rogue Evil Dead Guy.
Yeah, it's their Imperial Brown Ale.
Yo, if Warner Brothers is smart, they should get their marketing team in contact with Rogue Brewing.
Absolutely.
And get an Evil Dead Guy beer. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, you get Bruce Campbell to take a picture for the label. It'd be great.
Oh yeah, do a skeletonized Bruce Campbell instead of the like monk that's sitting there. Yeah.
Yeah, huge chin.
Yep.
Like a skull with just a big chin, but still like hair.
Yep.
Like the Elvis-y hair. Yeah. It'd be great. Anyway, Evil Dead Rise, director Lee Cronin posted a picture on his Twitter a few weeks ago of a very bloody hallway, calling it a particularly messy day on set. So clearly keeping in the tradition of the just incredible copious amounts of blood that you see in any Evil Dead movie. Evil Dead Rise will be in theaters April 23rd, 2023. That's fine. I mean, sure, you could have put it around Halloween, but, I'll go see it in April. Doesn't matter. I'll go see it no matter what.
I feel like Evil Dead might be one of those franchises that's big enough that you can just drop it whenever.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
certainly
it's a cult classic, but it's beyond like Leprechaun 17.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's only the 5th movie too. Like, it's not like Evil Dead has been a franchise that's been around since the early '80s, but it's not like they've been cranking out sequels like Friday the 13th or Halloween or something
Right.
like that. And it's only the 5th film, which
And
I
the
think,
first 2 were the same film, so
yeah. The second one is a remake / sequel to the first one. So, yeah. I guess besides they got 3 seasons of the show Ash versus
true.
Evil Dead, which is
Yep.
incredible. But still, it's not like it's not a horse. It's not a dead horse that's been
Right.
beaten to death, right? What's that saying? Beating a dead horse?
Yeah.
Did I say that right? I don't know if I made that analogy correctly.
No,
It's
it
not a
worked.
dead horse. Yeah. So anyway, I'm very excited about a new Evil Dead movie. And lastly, last spooky bonus one shot
Things
for
that
you.
nobody would have expected.
Yeah. This is an update from the Nielsen ratings. Nielsen is a company that like monitors how many people are watching television. They've recently, within the last 10 years or whatever, updated their services to also account for streaming services, obviously, because that's where television has gone. And one movie that was released this late September, broke a record for most minutes streamed within the first week of release. And this record...
For Halloween movies, what would you expect it to be?
For Halloween movies?
Yeah, Halloween-related movies, what would you think would be the highest viewed or highest grossed movies? Like you said,
I don't know.
you're
The most recent Halloween film, Halloween
Right.
Ends, was released in theaters and on streaming at the same time, so it could have been that one.
right. Or
but
you
it's
would have
not.
thought like Friday the 13th or
Yeah,
Nightmare
but it's not.
like a Nightmare on Elm Street sequel, something along those lines.
Yeah, but it's not.
No.
Or even like a Conjuring film or something,
Yeah.
but it's not. Yeah. Hocus Pocus 2
Yeah.
broke the Nielsen record for most minutes streamed in the first week, 2.7 billion minutes.
That's a B, folks.
That's a billion minutes streamed within the first week of release. Wow. I mean, I know, like Hocus Pocus, it's big amongst millennials. That's a big millennial movie, and there was a lot of hype around Hocus Pocus 2. Kind of surprising that they didn't go theatrical with Hocus Pocus 2. I think they could have made bank theatrically.
I know.
But,
I know my wife had a lot of fun watching it, and
Yeah.
said, and I quote, "It was better than the original."
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I should dive in. I saw Hocus Pocus once when I was a kid. Like that wasn't a movie that like stayed with me.
Same.
But apparently apparently you and I are in the minority of people that really attach themselves to that film.
Right. I've seen
moving
bits and
forward.
pieces since, the numerous times my wife's watched it over the various spooky seasons we've been together.
Sure.
And then, I caught probably about half of Hocus Pocus 2.
Yeah.
And it was not a cinematic masterpiece by any stretch, but it was fun. It was definitely fun.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Well, that's good to know.
We're not talking Shawshank Redemption here, but it was
Sure.
it was
Well, of course
like,
not.
it was an enjoyable time.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Good to know.
Grab a beer,
Good.
sit back, enjoy.
To know. Nice. Well, that is all of our spooky bonus one shots for the night, ladies and gentlemen. Days and gays. We hope you have a wonderful Halloween. We hope you have had a wonderful spooky season up till this point. And I think that's all I got. Steve, that's all you got? Anything you got else?
No, I think that's it for
Anything
the news.
you got else? That's the sentence, right, that I meant to say. Anything you
are-
got else?
We're professionals at this, Mike.
Just talking like Yoda. Not like Yaddle.
Not like Yaddle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I'd say, if, yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna rattle,
Ramp.
Let's try this again.
Professional podcasters, people. Crushing it today.
Hey, we made it an hour and 37 minutes before we went.
Whoa!
Into
Wow! What a podcast!
this. So yeah,
Thanks for sticking around,
If you've
everybody.
stuck around this
Thank
long,
you.
feel free to like, subscribe, let us know that you're watching. Leave a review, please. Helps the algorithms let people know that we're here. Check out themultiverseport.com, themultiverseport@gmail.com. Other than that, find us on the socials at the Multiverse Report, Multiverse RPT on Twitter, and I think that's about it.
That's all you got. That's what I got. Happy Halloween, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Until next time, we'll see ya in the multiverse.